Hey guys, Yugioh within. This time I got Magical Musketeers. So this is a deck that I like. It recently went up in price because of a lot of hype ever since the Link monster got announced. But I still play around with it. I like it. I recommend, if you have the build, it's a good investment to keep it around, and because with the Link monster obviously the deck will get a big boost. So I have a pretty solid build for what you're able to do without the Link monster. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do once the Link monster comes out. I have a few ideas, but for now, this is the build that I have. So I got triple Caspar. So he's like the main one. So the way Magical Musketeers work is if you have a Magical Musketeer monster, if a spell or trap card is activated in the same column that they are in, they get their unique effect. And then also they let you play all Magical spell and traps. You can activate them from your hand if you control a Magical Musketeer monster on the field. So basically all your spells and traps are hand traps when you're playing Magical Musketeers. So to go over Caspar, what he does is when a card is activated in that column, he activates and you can search out one Magical Musketeer card and add it from your deck. Add it from your deck to your hand. So that's Caspar. Then we have 3 Starfire. What she does is when a card is activated on her column, you get to special summon one Magical Musketeer monster, a level 4 or lower one, straight from your deck, in face-up defense position. Up next we got Kid Brave. So 3 Kid Brave. He's the strongest out of all of them, only 1600 attack, but I mean the Magical Musket cards really help you get over anything that's stronger. So what Kid Brave does is when a card is activated on his column, you can discard one Magical Musket card in order to draw 2 cards. So he adds a little bit of draw power to the deck. So 3 of him. And then 2 of Magical Musketeer Doc. So early game, the best one is Caspar, because he gets all your searches going, but then after you get your searches done, Doc becomes the most important one. Because what he does is when a card is activated on his column, you get to add one Magical Musketeer card from your graveyard back to your hand. So if you have both Caspar and Doc, then you create like a little loop going on where you play one Disruption card here to search out another one, and then you play the second one over here so that you can recycle the first one that you used. So that's a pretty good combo, and I'll go over the strongest combo in the game. I mean for this deck at least. So yeah, 2 Docs for that. Up next is my tech choice that I really enjoy playing. I haven't seen anybody else playing this card, and I think it's really good in Magical Musketeer. And it's Archfiend Eccentric. So she's a pendulum monster. So that means that she can be treated as a monster or a spell or trap. And that's important for this archetype because you can actually play your Magical Musketeer on the far side, either the right or left side, underneath right above your pendulum zone, and then you can activate her right there, and it'll actually trigger your Magical Musketeer monster's effect. So her other effect is once she's in your pendulum zone, you can tribute her, and then you can target a spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. So it's spell and trap removal, and then not only that, she's also a light fiend monster, which is pretty important because of the best card in the deck, Ties of the Brethren. Let me show you. So that's it for the monsters. Up next this is the most important card of the deck, so we got 3 Ties of the Brethren. So if you open up this, and any of your monster cards, except for Starfire, if you have Starfire, then you have to activate her effect first, and then use Ties of the Brethren to target the one that you special summoned, and then you can use Ties. You pay 2,000 life points, and then you can special summon 2 monsters with the same level, type, and attribute. Next we got 3 Pot of Desires. So I really like the Pot of Desires build. I haven't played around too much with the Pot of Extravagance build, but I don't own any, and then also I'm not sure how much I like that card because you're restricted to only being able to play it at the very start of your turn. That means that if you're going first, you can't play your Musketeer and then afterwards play your pot card below it to activate the effect of your Musketeer monster. And then also it locks you off you can't use any card effects that would let you draw for the rest of the turn. That means you can't upstart Goblin, you can't use the effect of Magical Musketeer Kid Brave. You can't use that one either, so you really lock yourself off more options. That's kind of why I don't like it too much. I still really like Pot of Desires. I know a lot of people don't like this card, but I think it's especially good at 3 in this deck, because, man, if you play this underneath Caspar, the amount of advantage that you get is crazy. You get the +2 plus the Caspar effect that lets you search anything that you want. Yeah, the only downside is you banish the stuff, but you know, it's always just like you just have to play it when the time is right. And then up next, 2 Pot of Duality. So this is for after you have an established board. After you already have the Musketeer monsters on field, Duality becomes really good because then you can just play it underneath them, since you're not worried about special summoning anymore. Since you already, like, the turn before, you dedicated to special summoning with like using Starfire, Instant Fusion, Ties of the Brethren, and all that stuff. So that's when Pot of Duality really shines. And up next, we got the first, the spell cards, the Magic Musket spell cards. So we got Cross Domination. So this is probably, it's debatable whether this one or the Counter Trap is the best one, because this one does a lot. So this one says if you control a Magical Musketeer monster, target one face-up monster on the field. Until the end of the turn, its attack and defense becomes 0 and its effects are negated. So it does a lot. You can use it for battle purposes, for negating effects, and yeah, it's really good. Just one thing you have to note too, for all these musket spells and traps, you can only activate one of them per turn. They're hard ones per turns. So you gotta plan it out how you want to play it out. But yeah, Cross Domination is really good. So 3 of them. Up next we got 2 Steady Hand. I like Steady Hand a lot, even though people consider it one of the weaker ones. This one, you target a Magical Musket monster, its attack and defense become double its original attack and defense till the end of the turn, but it's not allowed to attack directly. So this is what helps you beat over stronger monsters. But then at the same time, the main reason I really like this card is because it's actually a really good starter. Because you can just play it opening hand just to get trigger like Caspar or Starfire, just for the sake of getting a search. Because not the other musket cards don't really let you do this, but Steady Hands does, so that's why it's pretty good. And then up next we have 3 Instant Fusions. So Instant Fusion is really good. This is basically the Called by the Grave for you in this deck. You can run Called by the Grave in this deck if you want to. It is pretty good, but I mean, the reason I don't use it is because I don't think it has much synergy with the deck. Like, it's not helping you. It's kind of hard to use it for the purpose of triggering your musket cards. Instead, Instant Fusion, you can play it like even going first whenever you feel like it. And then also Instant Fusion has the same purpose, kind of, because if you special summon Millenniumize Restrict, he's protecting you from getting hand trapped. So like if you, especially a really good opening hand for going first is like Starfire, Instant Fusion, Ties of the Brethren. What you can do is you play the Instant Fusion underneath the Starfire so that you get a Millenniumize. Then you can you use the effect of Starfire to special summon Caspar, and then you play the Ties of the Brethren below the Caspar. So and they can't hand trap you for that whole combo, because if they do, you just use Millenniumize to negate their hand trap. So that's why I like it. And then the last one is Upstart Goblin. So yeah, getting that draw, which triggers your musket cards, is pretty good. And that's it for the spell cards. So up next into the trap cards, we got triple Magical Musketeer Desperado or Despacito. And this one's if you control a Magical Musketeer monster, target one face-up card on the field and you can destroy it. So just monster destruction removal. It can. I mean, it doesn't have to be monsters. It can be just face-up card on the field. Card's pretty good. So 3 of them. 3 of this one. This is the one that a lot of people think is the best one. It's debatable whether Cross Domination or this one's the better one, but still, this one's crazy good. So this one's negate a spell or trap card, and it's a counter trap. So what makes this deck crazy is that trap cards, trap cards people usually say they're slow because you have to set them, you have to wait a turn until you can activate them. But Magical Musketeers, as soon as a Magical Musketeer monster hits the field, you can already activate these trap cards from your hand. So this, like, let's say you summon, like, you use any of your Musketeer monster's effects and they try and use like Solemn Strike or something, you can just play this from your hand and it actually negates it because it's a counter trap. And they can't really activate anything in response to counters. So this card is pretty crazy. So 3 of the Last Stand. 1 Dancing Needle, this is just personal tech. I know it's a little bit more situational. This one you can target up to 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard, or just in the graveyard in general, and then you banish them. Like I said, it's a little bit more situational, but I like main decking it because it's really nice searching it out. Plus it's another card that you can just search out for once you're if the grind game gets that long and you start running out of targets to search for. Dancing Needle is pretty good. And then usually this is a prime card to always side out depending on the matchup. But yeah, 1 Dancing Needle. Then 1 Fiendish Steel. What this one does is that it protects all your musket monsters from being able to be destroyed by card effects. And then if they destroy it, then this gives you a free search. So it's nice, it's good protection. I like this card. And then the last 2 cards is 2 Solemn Scolding. So I really like this card in this deck. It says if this card is the only set card in your spell and trap card zone, when a monster would be summoned, a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, you pay 3,000 life points and you negate that card, the activation, and you destroy it. So in this deck, you're never setting any cards. There's no card you're gonna set. It's just gonna be this card. So it's just the ability to negate anything. On top of usually what you search out is you want to have Cross Domination and Last Stand. That way you have a monster negation on field, a spell and trap negation, and then Scolding makes it 1 extra negation of anything of your choice. So I think this card is too good not to run. I really like it. I tried builds where I don't use it and I really miss it. I just think this card is super good. So double Scolding. And then that's it for the deck, and then now to go into the extra deck. So let's start off with the instant fusion targets. We got the double restricts, the one that can take your opponent's monster, and then the one that can stop hand traps from ruining your plays. Then 1 Carbonala Warrior, just to help you go into rank 4s if you need to. And then 1 Panzer Dragon, so if during the end of your turn you can just destroy something. Now for the Link monsters, just 1 Link Karibo to get rid of those restrict monsters. 1 Hip Potion. All the monsters are light, so he'll just be giving them an attack boost. And then after is the rank 3 monsters, so we have 1 Break Sword, 1 King Darius. He's pretty good because he doesn't target, to be able to bounce monsters your opponent controls. 1 Acid Golem for the strongest rank 3 that you can use. And then for the level 4s we have 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Castell, 1 101 Honor Arc, 1 Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, and the Utopia, and then Utopia the Lightning. And that's it for the extra deck. Alright guys, let me quickly go over one of the best combos that this deck has, going first. So a basic combo is just having Musketeer monster plus Ties of the Brethren. So when you have this combo, you can just do like Caspar here, and you play Ties underneath, and then you'll get both Kid Brave and Doc. Special summon here. You'll get the effect of Caspar, so you get 1 search. You get to search out 1 type of negation. I would suggest getting maybe Cross Domination would be the best one to search out. And then you just end your turn. So then on your opponent's turn, if you negate something with Cross Domination, you play it on Caspar, so that you can search out, like, let's say Desperado. And then if your opponent plays something else, you play the Desperado underneath the dock, and then you can recycle the Cross Domination that you used originally. So there's different ways to go about this combo too. Another thing is, instead of getting those two, instead of getting Doc and Kid Brave, you can substitute, like, let's say the Kid Brave with a Archfiend Eccentric, because that actually gives you the option that you can use Archfiend Eccentric to destroy a monster on the field. And then it can also go reverse too. Let's say your opening hand is these two cards. So then you can just play the Archfiend, get ties, and then activate to get both of these. So there's different ways to getting in this end board. Another one is if you draw Ties of the Brethren with Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion protects your play so that you can't get Ash Blossom, for example. So let's see, let me get my Millennium Eyes. So what you can do is, this is actually a really good starting hand if you open up with these three, which isn't that rare because we play all of them at 3. So how I would play this out, having these 3 cards, is you play the Starfire first, activate the Instant Fusion, that'll get you the Millennium Eyes. Millennium Eyes over here. Instant Fusion was played in the same column as Starfire, so you get the effect, and you'll special summon the Caspar. Then you'll play the last piece, which is the Ties of the Brethren, underneath the Caspar, and then you special summon both Kid Brave and Doc. Neither these can't get hit by hand traps, because you have this to protect you. Unfortunately though, Ties of the Brethren makes it so that you can't special summon anymore during that turn, so you can't actually send this away to make Link Kuriboh. Still, it's all good because it's completely worth because you made it so that this play can't get interrupted. So then Millennium Eyes goes away, and then that was your end field. You get all your Musketeer monsters, and you're good to go. And you got your search for Caspar, which really gets things going. If you have this field and at least one Musket spell or trap card in your hand, then you can start activating, recycling the other ones, using Kid Brave to get extra draws for extra plus. And yeah, this deck just has a lot of disruption. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the Magical Musketeer deck. Let me know what you think of the deck. This build I've seen a lot of success. It's pretty good. Like I said, I haven't played too much with the Link monster, but this is a list made for playing the Musketeers without the Link monster. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.